Okay. Now we're going to move to a section that Google calls gaining altitude. And the idea with this part of the day is to visit with a couple of other companies that are doing other things inside the cloud business to, I think, give us all a better feel for the breadth and depth of the models, what they're learning, and what they're doing with this. We're going to begin with Marc Benioff. Marc Benioff is the CEO and chairman of Salesforce.com. He started the company in 1999. It's now a $1 billion company with 5,000 employees, a market leader in enterprise cloud computing. Prior to launching Salesforce, Marc spent 13 years at Oracle Corp. You know, earlier in the day, I was talking about how the cloud represents a scale of computers, but also an enormous scale of participation, both overt and ad hoc. It's great to have Marc talking now because he's going to take the stuff you were seeing from Mary and show ways in which that scale of participation is being reflected in the enterprise already in the products he's building and introducing. So, Marc?
Okay. All right. Thank you, Quentin. Thank you.
Welcome, Dad.
Okay, thank you so much. Very excited to be here. Thank you, Quentin, and thank you, Mary, and thanks to Dave for inviting me. I appreciate it. Thank you, Dave. I think there's some Salesforce.com customers in the audience. If you're a Salesforce.com customer, you just stand up and be recognized. If you're a Salesforce.com customer, just stand up. All right, thank you very much. Welcome. Thank you. And lots of prospects here. Very exciting for me. Very exciting to all the prospects. What I want to do is I want to take some of what Mary has been talking about, some of these messages that she just gave us, very important messages. Mary is a prophet, both with a PH and an F. Okay, think about it for a second. But Mary is truly a great prophet of our industry. She has been more right on about these issues than any other. If you haven't seen her December 15th report from last year called the Mobile Internet Report, you should get a hard copy of it. I literally just spent 2 weeks with it in December, glued to it. It fundamentally helped me to rewrite my own strategy for Salesforce.com. I'm just going to hit a couple of those points. I want to kind of carry on what she is talking about. But before I do, yes. Yes, that's what I gave them for Christmas, yeah. My daughter, I gave her a copy of the Mobile Internet Report. So unfortunately, she's 17 months, but she's looking forward to reading it. Safe harbor statement. We are a publicly traded company on the New York Stock Exchange under the ticker symbol CRM. This is our safe harbor. If you have not seen it, here it is. And you also have a chance to read it on the internet as well. So as Mary said, you know, these 10-year computing cycles, we have to pay attention in our industry because things are constantly changing. Things are constantly transforming, transcending, and going forward. And this is the seminal part of our industry that I love. Because what it means is no matter what is happening right now, it's going to be different in a couple of years. And we are breaking through, we are breaking into a whole new area of computing right now. It is probably, as Mary said, it's the biggest, most exciting level of value creation she's ever seen. For me, it's just a whole new world for us to start playing in. But we have to start thinking about that as CIOs and as enterprise. It's a little bit different than kind of the consumer world. Now, one of the key things that we can really say is that these kind of future employees that we're going to have are using these technologies. These are the technologies that they are being trained on. This is what they expect when they come into our enterprises. So we have to be paying attention to that. This is a big one. Mary, you know, this is one of her key slides. Social networking users has passed email users. How many people here have an email account? How many have more than one? How many have more than two? Okay, amazing, right? But yet social networking users surpassing email. You go and talk to these kids who are in college or kids coming right into the company, they're not even using email. They're on the social networks. They're on Facebook. They're on Twitter. This is how they're communicating. These are our future employees. Again, another big change in how people are using the internet, direct from Mary's deck, Facebook. You know, soon to be 500 million users, soon to be 1 billion users. The big growth areas, social networking, video, and search as the dominant trends of this next wave of computing. Amazing, and very different from where we were just a couple of years ago. And, again, direct from Mary's deck, it's not just what they're doing on the internet, but it's how they're getting to the data. That they're using devices like these. How many people have a BlackBerry or an iPhone or some kind of application phone with them right now in their pocket? You know, that's amazing. So how we're accessing the internet is just changed. So there's a huge shift that's going on. So when I look at this, the way that I position this shift to my own employees, to our customers is, we are moving from Cloud 1 to Cloud 2. We're going from this first generation of cloud computing into this second wave of cloud computing. And it's very, very different. Cloud 1, we would talk about multi-tenant and shared systems and trust and reliability and scalability and the democratization of these of systems and web services-based integrations and multi-tenant development platforms and application exchanges. This is a slide that I delivered 6-7 years ago. But in Cloud 2, what we're talking about is very different. We're talking about social data. We're talking about social documents, social platforms, social applications, collaboration, new devices, real time. That this is the big shift that Mary is really articulating for us. You know, when I started Salesforce.com, it was really, you know, in the mid-90s, I was in my office at Oracle, and I asked myself a simple question. I was using Amazon.com, amazing application. You can hear from Werner in a second. Easy to use, scales, auto updates, auto upgrades, amazing. And so I said, why is all enterprise software not like Amazon.com? And that's why I started Salesforce. And if you've read the book Behind the Cloud, you'll know that was my catalyst. But today I'm asking a very different question. Why isn't all enterprise software like Facebook? So with 1 billion users on Facebook on the horizon, that's how we have to be thinking. If we're going to still be giving our users our blue screens and our green screens and our Lotus Notes and our Microsoft SharePoints, by the time they get to the office, I assure you, they're going to say, this is not what I use. This is not what I know how to use. I need something very, very different. You know, that there is a shift that's going on from Cloud 1 to Cloud 2. And if Cloud 1 was about Amazon.com and kind of that tab-based interface, you remember that across the top and how revolutionary that was, and pulling information and clicking and using the desktop and being fixed and the location being unknown and using your Windows or your Mac to access this, make no mistake about it, we're moving into Cloud 2. And what that means is that we're moving into a world that looks more like Facebook with feeds and push and touch and the smartphone and the tablet and mobile, and where your location is known, and where you're using HTML5 or Cocoa, or kind of, as you heard in the previous panel, kind of a hybrid of these capabilities, that this is a shift. Now, I've talked to CIOs constantly all over the world. In the last 2 weeks, I've talked to more than 100 CIOs. And I know for a lot of CIOs, they aren't even in Cloud 1 yet, and we're talking about Cloud 2. That's not a pleasant place to be. I had a question, I'm still on my MVS CICS environment. I need to move from VM CMS into this. I'm like, whoa, you know, we're moving fast. We're moving into this next generation of computing. And so we need to pay attention to moving into this and go faster than ever before. When I did this slide, I really wanted to make the point that a lot can happen in 10 years in our industry. You see, in our industry, people are always overestimating what you can do in 1 year and underestimating what you can do in 1 decade. So I thought I should have George Bush on the left and Obama on the right for Cloud 1 and Cloud 2, but my marketing department rejected it, so I got this guy, and you can see I only got one hand on the right. So that's just the world I'm in. Basically, as CEO, I have very little power. See what I'm saying? Yeah, he's got me. And we are moving in this new desktopless world. You've heard a lot about that today. Tremendous platforms that we can build on scalability, reliability, availability, performance, integration, and then lots of objects of information, whether it's our analytics, whether it's our fundamental data management getting pulled up and through into our apps, into our people, into our data, and into these new generation of devices. And this is where we are all going. We call it Cloud 2. This is our architecture. Instead of going through this in detail with you, I thought what we would do is do a nice demonstration of the technology for you and show you what we think Cloud 2 is going to look like from Salesforce's perspective. We have a big upgrade that goes live in June. I know we have a few customers here are already on it, but we wanted to give you a preview of what some of this new technology is doing. So please welcome our Senior VP of Product Marketing, Craig Swenson, and Dan Darcy. Welcome, thanks, Craig Mark. And Dan. And we're going to take a look at some technology.
All right.
All right, please give them a round of applause.
Thanks. Once again, thank you for having us. Today we're going to demonstrate what we call Sales Cloud 2, which is our namesake Salesforce automation application. And we're now calling it Sales Cloud 2 starring Chatter, because Salesforce Chatter is our new collaboration technology. And this is really what we believe is the future of enterprise business applications. And the cool thing is for the Salesforce.com customers in the room, that future is here now. And we're rolling it out to all of our customers in June. And it's important to note that when we built this technology, when we were thinking about collaboration and what Mark was referring to as Cloud 2, we didn't build a separate system. We didn't build a separate collaboration technology. We actually built the collaboration technology that we're going to show you today into the applications that we already deliver, because we think the context is something that's really important. And when we built it, we didn't build our own UI and we didn't build our own paradigm, because we looked out on the web, as we do at Salesforce.com, and we recognized that Facebook has essentially trained the entire internet on how to collaborate. 500 million users going to 1 billion users. Facebook trained the entire internet on how to collaborate. So, of course, we built our application to work like Facebook. The same paradigms and the status updates and the filters and the feeds and everything that you know and love has now been brought to work. So let's go ahead and bring up the demonstration. And what we'll show you today is we're going to log into Salesforce. Those of you who are customers in the room know that this is what the Salesforce UI looks like. Of course, we're in the sales application right now, but of course, Salesforce delivers many applications for customer service, and you can build your own enterprise applications on our platform. And when we log into the sales application, across the top of the screen, what you can see is that the various functions of the sales application are shown there. So this is where companies manage their customers and their accounts and their contacts and their sales deals, or what we call opportunities, and their dashboards and their content, and on and on and on. But now when a user logs into Salesforce as a sales rep, our man Scott Thompson here, what he can see in the middle of the screen is, of course, Salesforce is used to track his deals, where he's at on the leaderboard and his quota and all his tasks and all the companies he's trying to sell into. But something that's new with Salesforce and Salesforce Chatter is this picture at the top of the screen. Now, inside of Salesforce, every single user of the system has a persona, has an identity. And by the way, this is something that's radically new for enterprise software systems. Historically, you've never been able to log into an enterprise business application as a human being and interact with other human beings inside of your company to get work done. But now you can with Salesforce and Salesforce Chatter. And when you click on your username or your user profile or anybody else's username or picture inside of the application, you're brought to your own work profile. And it looks just like Facebook. It works just like Facebook. You can upload your own photo. You can describe yourself, your contact information, where you used to work, your expertise. And then everybody across the company can search on this and connect with one another to do their job. If that's a sales rep, that means selling more. If that's a customer service agent, it means happy customers and closing out issues. And in the middle of the screen, something that's familiar to all of you is the status update box. But instead of doing personal status updates like I might on Facebook or Twitter, here inside of Salesforce and Salesforce Chatter, I actually talk about what's meaningful to my job and meaningful to the company. So as a sales rep, I could say I'm looking for a good reference in the media industry because I'm trying to close this big deal with a media company for $700K this quarter. And now everybody across the company that's following me can dogpile on that and help me produce that killer reference. And that's what you can see on the right-hand side of the screen. You can see everybody that's following me. Just like on Facebook and just like on Twitter and just like in Google Buzz, you have people that are following you. But right below that, it's actually more than people. And this is something that's really a key point. It's not only the people that I want to follow. Like as a rep, I might follow my sales engineer or somebody in ops or somebody in legal or my VP of sales or my VP of finance. But I can also follow business documents. So as a rep, you can see here on the screen that I'm following the marketing collateral, the corporate sales presentation, product pricing. And something that is completely new is I'm following data. The data can chatter at you. I'm following my top customers. I'm following my big deals. I'm following my support cases. And because Salesforce has an open platform, and Chatter actually is a platform, you can stream information in from third-party sites. Like apps such as Oracle Financials can actually chatter to your sales reps. So let's go ahead and see that. What does it look like? Well, just like on the homepage of Facebook, and just like on the homepage of Twitter, or the home hyperlink on Twitter, that's where you see your feed. And here now in Salesforce, you actually get what's called a chatter feed, your real-time activity feed of everything that's going on around your business, most importantly, that you care about. And that's what's something that's really critical, because on Facebook and Twitter and Buzz, you are empowered as a user. You get to determine what you want to follow. And then the stream comes to you in real time. And now at work, you get to choose the things around your company that you care about. And that activity feed streams to you as it happens. So we can see updates from people, like Nicole in marketing is flying out to our patch, and she's wondering how she can help us prospect. You can see updates from documents, so you see that the product price list just changed. And now you can see people sharing best practices, and was that a good idea, was that a bad idea, and what works and what doesn't. You can actually see that the data inside of your company, the data records themselves, are chattering. So this customer case is actually telling you that it's been escalated to critical, and now you see people across the company working to resolve that issue. And you can stream in information from third-party systems. So in this case, Oracle Financials is telling the sales rep that a bill has not been paid. Oracle Financials is actually chattering in real time right inside of Salesforce. But something that every single sales rep always wants to know is they want to know what's going on with their top deals. That is, in fact, their job. So when somebody else in the company changes the status of a deal and says a competitor has just been introduced in this deal, a rep gets notified of it in real time in their feed. And the cool thing about Chatter now, it's not a separate system. As you can see there, every single thing in the feed is a hyperlink. So now the sales rep can click through that opportunity and be brought to the underlying record. Now, for those of you who are not Salesforce customers in the room, this is the screen where sales reps actually manage their transactions. This is where they manage their deals. So what you can see on this business record here is that you can see the deal. You can see that it's for about $700,000. It's forecasted to close this quarter. We can see the products and the pricing that we're selling as a sales rep, everybody on the team who's working on this deal, the quotes and proposals that we've sent out to the customer. So this is really the core object of Salesforce, one of the deals, what's called the sales opportunity. But now at the top of the screen, what you can see is that if anybody has access to this record, they can follow it. Just like you can follow a person on Twitter, you can follow the data inside of your company just by clicking on this link. And the cool thing is now every single piece of data inside of the application has its own feed, has its own chatter stream. So now this becomes a private collaboration space where just the people who are working on this deal can all work together to try and close it. And so you see the stream of activity just like it exists in Facebook. People can status update, people can comment, they can share images, they can share videos, they can share content, they can share documents, they can share Google Docs right here in the feed. And when you can view those things right here, so you can see that Jake is sharing the meeting agenda for our big sales call next week. You can preview it right in the feed. But Marc keeps mentioning real time. In fact, that's something that's really core to our system, and it's something that's really core to every internet business, whether it's Google or Facebook or Twitter. Internet businesses, things happen in real time. When you buy a book on Amazon, you expect to be able to transact that in real time, place your order in real time. But many of our enterprise systems, as you all know, don't work in real time. With a batch update or a process or something where you have to check back in 2 days or check back the next morning, in this system at Salesforce, as a web company, everything happens immediately. So for example, can we split this screen? Now what you can see here is that somebody else in our company is on the road with an iPad. And this could be any device. It could be the Android device, it could be the iPad, it could be the iPhone, it could be the BlackBerry. And no matter where people are nowadays, as Mary was saying, they're accessing these systems on the road. Everybody is mobile. And so we can log into Salesforce on the iPad or the iPhone or the Android or the BlackBerry from anywhere. And now here's the key thing, is that when our sales engineer who's sitting in the airport using an iPad on Wi-Fi logs into the application and begins typing a comment in the chatter feed, this is amazing to you. This is not amazing to you as a user of Facebook in your personal life. But for a business system, this is absolutely insane, that people can actually see each other's activity, see the data as activity, see the activity of the content in real time as it happens. And when we post a comment from the airport, everybody else inside of the company gets access to that in real time. Take a look at the screen on the left. It chatters immediately. So any device, anywhere on the web, when anybody is chattering, when anyone is collaborating, sharing information, sharing documents, everybody across the business sees this immediately as it happens. And they see it from any device, and it gets pushed to them inside of their chatter stream. So if we could just go back to the first screen. So what you can see here is that our sales engineer named Matt is sharing information and suggesting we change the agenda around and go get some competitive information. And now something that's brand new with Salesforce is kind of this notion of a group, something that was never before possible inside of our application. But again, something we took directly from Facebook was how do people work together, and people across the business and your business work together in groups. And now anybody across the company could spin up a group for competitive intelligence or legal, or maybe just your team, or maybe for sales, you're actually looking for customer references. Anyone in the company can spin up a public or private group and essentially provide a collaboration space for everybody to work together. So if we drill into one of these groups, like competitive intelligence, you'll see here on the screen that everybody who cares about winning deals against this company now has a space to collaborate, share documents, share slides, share stories about who won and who lost, and effective uses of the materials to compete against this company. You can see here on the screen that somebody named Sarah from Competitive just shared a set of slides. And of course, we could view those here on the screen, but we can also click on this link. Salesforce has a built-in content library or repository that also works with Google Apps and Google Docs. And you can see here on the screen that we can actually just access these competitive slides. And for every rep, every sales representative, what they want to do is they typically want to take these slides from marketing or from competitive, mash them together into their own killer slide deck, work on their desktop, work inside of Google Docs, what have you. And then when they've got the killer pitch, if we've got our big sales call next week, as soon as we've got the killer pitch, as a sales representative, what do we always want to do? Well, we want to share it with the team. We want everybody who's coming with us on the sales call to see that deck. And now, of course, Chatter provides that killer opportunity to do that right inside of the feed. So just like you would share a photo on Facebook, or you would share a photo on Twitter, the same is now true of business documents inside of Salesforce and Salesforce Chatter. We can just select the document, it appears in the feed, and now everybody on the sales team who's trying to win this deal can collaborate on this presentation to make sure we've got the killer pitch for next week. And something else that's really cool with Salesforce is that right here inside of the user interface, you can take any document and deliver it out to your prospect or anybody out on the web as a URL. So for example, ahead of the big sales call next week, we typically want to send things like a meeting agenda out to our prospect. And so instead of just sending that Word document or that PowerPoint, instead of sending 10 or 20 megabytes of attachments, which is what typically happens, or the emails go flying back and forth, in Salesforce, we can just generate a URL and send that URL out to the prospect. The fact that that just happened immediately gets recorded in the Chatter feed, and that's what you can see here on the screen. So events in the system, the fact that things take place or workflow rules get kicked off, or a business process completes gets recorded in the Chatter feed. It actually chatters. But here's something that's really cool. Let's go ahead and bring up the split screen again. And now what we can see here is when our prospect opens up that document, instead of getting an email attachment, they just open up their email inbox and they get a hyperlink. Now, as soon as they click on this hyperlink, what's going to happen is they're going to view the document. But think about this. They view the document in their email inbox, and the fact that that event happens creates chatter. So that means when you send URLs out to your prospects, or when people inside of your company are sending URLs, events on the web can essentially cause activity inside of the Chatter feed. This makes your sales reps smart. This makes everybody in your company smart. These are kind of the insights about what's happening that they're completely unaware of right now. And everything is tied together in a super private and secure manner, which is Salesforce Chatter. And you can see this everywhere. So here on the iPad, of course, as soon as something happens, the system works in real time, which means that the sales representative, which is the screen on the left, the sales representative immediately sees that the prospect just opened up this document. The sales engineer from the airport on the iPad immediately sees that the prospect just opened up this document. And now somebody else, the VP of sales, who's now on a sales call, whips out his mobile phone, whether it's an Android or an iPhone or a BlackBerry, drills into the underlying record inside of the Salesforce native mobile application here on the iPhone, and you can see the exact same thing reflected everywhere immediately in real time. And the key here is that this is a new capability for enterprise business applications. This is what we believe is the future of enterprise business apps. Your apps today inside of your companies don't work like this, but now Salesforce come June, to all of our customers, we're actually including this capability with every license of Salesforce. So, we really think this is the future of our company, the future of our next decade, the future of Salesforce automation and everything that we do. So, Mark?
All right, thanks so much, Craig. Great job. Great job, Dan. So we really think that this is a huge transformation. We do think we're moving from Cloud 1 to Cloud 2. You kind of see a new type of data management, collaboration, communication. For a lot of us who have been in IT for a long time, kind of the strongest part of collaboration has been Lotus Notes or Microsoft SharePoint. Lotus Notes was created before Mark Zuckerberg was. Just think about it. It's been with us a long time, okay? We need something new, something fresh, and our users are going to demand it because this is what they're using in their personal lives and in their home. Now, the social layer that you just saw on top of the enterprise data, whether it's the people are talking to you, the data is talking to you, or the applications are talking to you, we have basically enhanced Salesforce in all of our custom applications. We have more than 150,000 custom applications that we're managing for our 75,000 customers around the world. All will get this new social layer just added on automatically, and then customers can just turn it on, and this is what the new view into Salesforce will look like for our customers. I know we have customers here in the audience who already have this turned on. I know Doug Menefee is here from Shoemaker. I don't know, Doug, if you'd like to say a couple words about this, but you'd be delighted to take a microphone for me. It would be fantastic. And I'm also happy to answer any other questions about this. We have a couple minutes left, or we can, Doug has mysteriously appeared. Fantastic. Put him on the spot. But we've now turned this on. What you just saw today, for about 500 Salesforce customers, we're getting a great response. And we really are trying to say, what can we learn from these new applications and apply it back in the enterprise? Doug, do you want to just mention, what you've done at Shoemaker, and maybe you should mention who Shoemaker is as well.
Sure, it's Schumacher, and
that's what I said.
Okay. No, it's that West Coast accent. We're the third largest emergency management company in the country, so we have about 150 hospitals that we manage the emergency room physicians inside of. And we turned on Chatter earlier this week, and I just kind of made an executive decision because it breaks nothing inside of the Salesforce org. Just turned it on and see what would happen. And within 5 minutes, we had immediate adoption and probably close to 30, 40 individuals starting to utilize it. And today I was just logging into the system from right here inside, using it inside of a mobile type of environment. And it's just unbelievable the type of collaboration that we're getting. And it's starting to reduce the amount of email volume, and teams are collaborating in more real time with each other and following data as opposed to following individuals, which is what we're looking to have accomplished with it.
One last thing I'd love to show you, and I don't know if I can get this going. And is it good? Try to zoom in here a little bit for you. A little zoom in action. Got some Microsoft protesters actually right now outside my Seattle event. Very exciting. I can find out about that in real time. This is actually real. So I have the ability to kind of manage Salesforce as the CEO using Chatter. You can see all of our people are talking to me, of course, but you'll also see that there's also deals or customers are talking to me. So I can see like VMware Leap API. This Leap API, this is actually a computer process on my website that just notified me that and this is who Leap API is. And then I can see, show me all of the customers that are coming in off the website. So the computer is talking to me, my employees are talking to me, but even deals are talking to me. So here's a deal, an actual deal that I'm working on, and I can see that deal, I can see the chatter associated with that deal, what's going on with that. Of course, I also have my analytics. I've got my customer cases. I can see what's going on with my customer support. I can see what's happening with this customer service agent. Sorry, I'm not a very good demoer, which is why I have Craig. And here's my People tab. This is all my employees in the company. So if I want to see what any of our employees are doing anywhere, yeah, we got 5,000 of these guys. Got to keep track of them. So, we can find out what's going on here and say, oh, here's what you can see the employees are talking to each other. And then if I want to modify this and I'm not exactly that happy with how this is set up, I can say, these are all the objects I currently have set up, but I can see I've got dashboards, cases, and people down there, but I really want to manage my opportunities more closely. I can just drag my opportunities down here, and I can hit done, and now I have all my opportunities available to me. But this is where we think enterprise software is really going. It's a whole new type of way. This is actually live. This is how I manage Salesforce from my iPhone. If you want to talk to me about it, my email is ceo@salesforce.com. Happy to come out, do the same demonstration for you at your office, or talk to one of our customers here. Thank you very much. Thank you for having me. Thank you, Dave.